All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division where Errol Spence Jr. gave an interview on the Pivot podcast. Very good interview. Most definitely you should go check it out. And he talked about Terence Crawford and what it was like to be the bad guy going into the Terence Crawford fight, and specifically what it is about Terence Crawford that he is worried about, and made a little bit of an admission about an advantage that Terence Crawford has. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division where Errol Spence Jr. gave an interview, and he made a funny admission about Terence Crawford, an interesting admission about Terence Crawford, which tells me, look, man, this guy is very, very realistic about what's going on in this fight. Very intelligent dude. And for all you guys that have been saying something about Terence Crawford's athleticism and being a better athlete than Errol Spence Jr. agrees. Now, before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, let me tell you, thank you so much for your continued support, especially to the people that sponsor videos like this in the super thanks. It really is a great way to encourage content creators to continue to do the content that you like. But before we get into that, I just want to tell you real fast about today's sponsor, the Boxing Showtime app. It's a very useful app that keeps you updated on all things boxing, and you can keep up with the latest fights, where to watch them, the latest news, and a lot more. For any hardcore boxing fan like myself, and most likely all of y'all, I would definitely recommend downloading it. And it also is most definitely a big support to the channel. It's available for both Apple and Android, and you can find the link in the description below. Thanks for considering downloading Boxing Showtime's app. But let's get back into the subject matter of the video. All right, so Errol Spence Jr. was on the Pivot podcast, and he was asked, there's about three things I want to talk about, but the first thing that I found most interesting is that he admitted that Terence Crawford is a better athlete than he is. I was like, wow, I can't believe he said that. But that doesn't surprise me, because Errol Spence Jr. is consistently saying things that surprise me in just the blatant honesty of the man. I don't know, like, what his mama did with him that made him eat his, maybe he told a lie as a baby and she made him, literally wash his mouth out with soap or something like that. But something got this man at a relatively early age knowing the power of the truth and recognizing, hey man, look, dude, if this is the case, there's no shame in lying about it, right? So he says to the people that are interviewing him, a series of football players, by the way, I got to say about those guys, very intelligent guys, very well prepared for their interview. Really no cornballishness in their interview, really at all. But just excellent interview. They talked about it, and Errol was like, yeah, hey, I don't really have to worry about anything in his skill set, because he says, look, man, in my skill set, I feel like my skill set and my ability is going to mow over anybody. But Terence Crawford, I got to worry about Terence Crawford and his quickness and his speed and his footwork and his ability to move to the left, his ability to move to the right. And I got to worry about his athleticism. And he said, look, man, that is very, very real. So this is something where he also admitted that going into the Ugas fight, that he's a lot more excited about this fight than he was for the Yordenis Ugas fight, because he's like, look, man, I knew what I was going to do to Yordenis Ugas. So He's like, I knew exactly what I was going to do here, These guys. I knew how that was going to go. And, that was kind of my mindset with him. I wasn't as excited about this. So he said with Terence Crawford, he feels like he's going to be able to really show his skill set, and he's really going to be able to do something that is, historic or career defining for him against Terence Crawford. But that it is not going to be based off athleticism. It's going to be based off his skill set, and it's going to be based off of his tenacity. And this just to me reminds me again of the classic what people prototypically call the Mexican style fighter versus the Black American fighter, slick southpaw type fighter, because that's what Terence Crawford is. He fights in a slick southpaw stance, not super slippery, you know what I mean, but counter punching, hitting you with big shots that you can't see, all of that good stuff, all that good old stuff that is very, very effective against guys that are come forward fighters, or guys that really, are not on the same talent level. But as Derek James had said on multiple occasions, that look, man, when you get to a certain age, that athleticism starts to slip. And at 35 years old, that very well may be going on 36 years old. That very well may be the case with Terence Crawford, because you've not seen all of that movement and all that pretty much since, he's been at welterweight, maybe with the exception of the Jeff Horn fight about 5 years ago, but still just haven't really seen a lot of that. Now, that said, Errol also responded or talked about asked about him getting nervous for the fight, and with this big thing coming up, like what does he do? And again, man, I really like this guy's perspective, because he says, look, one of the things that I do, I have a ritual. I start looking at like kids in South America, kids in different areas of the country, of the world, that are like eating, and I think he might have referred to like in Africa, mud pies, where kids have no food. So what they'll do is they'll just literally make a pie out of mud and eat it just so that they can calm their hunger that they have, and saying, look, man, what do I really have to worry about? I'm about to get into this ring and earn millions of dollars for this fight, or millions of dollars for a boxing match. And what do I care? I mean, like, what do I really have to be worried about? And really putting things in perspective to the point where you don't feel like, the world's going to end if things don't go the way that you want them to go, which is also a very good way to calm your nerves and allow you to be in the moment and take care of the business that you have to take care of. Because at the end of the day, man, really stress is something serious, and fighting under those bright lights, being in those type of scenarios, look, man, that stuff can get the best of you if you think that everything in the world is resting on it, and you start thinking about what's going to happen if you don't win. So just all in all, for me, man, I just think that it's a very, very intelligent, very mature situation with Errol Spence, where Errol seems to be, number one, he seems to be very physically in very, very good shape, spiritually, mentally in a very good place, and doing something that he has had his mind like tunnel vision on for several years now. And we'll see what actually takes place in a fight. But I think when you have that kind of mentality, man, that Errol has, I don't think you really can at the end of the day. You're not going to really lose, any way it goes, because number one, you manned up, took the fight, and forced a fight that a lot of people didn't want you to take in your own camp. Force somebody that probably didn't want to fight you, and so that you can solidify what's going on in that weight division. So, and all of these people, and a lot of people that talk about money and legacy and all of that, that's when you're talking about both of those at the same time, where Errol knows he's going to make millions and millions of dollars, and he's not retiring. He's going to continue to fight after the fight. So there's more money to be had after that. But yet you want to complete your goal enough so that you're willing to kind of tuck your pride, do what's necessary, and do what's necessary to get the fight made. So all in all, man, I'm excited about it. Excited about this fight. I again pick Errol Spence Jr. to win the fight because of the fundamental style that he has, the pressure that he puts on people, the volume of punches that he throws, and not like he throws a ridiculous amount of punches or and he's just out there throwing stuff to get hit between anything, but he's careful with it. He's cautious with it, but he keeps touching people, and touching you and touching you scores points. And over time, it breaks you down and gets you mentally, physically, all kind of, wobbled up, is like he said in the interview. And I see that taking place with Terence Crawford, with Terence having moments in the fight, having good moments in the fight. Honestly, I don't see a knockdown for either one of these dudes. I do not believe that Terence Crawford is going to get knocked down in the fight. I don't think he could be. I don't think Errol Spence Jr. is going to get knocked down in the fight. He could be, but I don't think he would. There's nothing that I've seen in that scenario to tell me that he would. The people that Terence Crawford have knocked down or knocked out have all been knocked down or knocked out before. So I'm not just, I don't think so. But anyway, it is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.